Welcome to Farming Aid. When we think of cattle today, we often picture massive herds grazing peacefully or beef sizzling on a grill. But behind every cow is a story, and some breeds have stories that helped shape entire civilizations. From powering early agriculture to building empires, fueling economies, and even defining cultures, a handful of cattle breeds have left a mark far beyond the pasture. In this video, we're diving deep into the rich history of the world's most influential cattle breeds. These aren't just animals. They're living legends that change the way humans farm, trade, and eat. Whether it's their resilience, their productivity, or the culture they represent, each breed on this list earned its place in history. Let's explore the cattle that changed the world. One of the earliest and most impactful cattle breeds in recorded history is the Zebu, also known as Bos indicus. This ancient breed is instantly recognizable by its distinctive hump and long ears. Originating from South Asia, Zebu cattle were essential in early human settlements for their unmatched heat tolerance, resistance to parasites, and ability to thrive in arid, tropical climates where other cattle struggled to survive. Their versatility made them indispensable for draft work, milk, and meat, particularly across India, the Middle East, and later throughout Africa and South America. When Zebu genetics merged with native cattle in Brazil, it led to the development of highly productive hybrids like the Nelore and Brahman, which are now dominant beef breeds across the tropics. The legacy of Zebu is seen not just in their continued use, but in how they laid the genetic foundation for heat-resilient cattle in a warming world. Meanwhile, in the fertile grasslands of northern Europe, another breed was quietly rewriting the script for modern dairy farming. The Holstein Friesian, more commonly known simply as Holstein, emerged from the Netherlands and northern Germany and became the undisputed queen of milk production. Recognized by their iconic black and white markings, Holsteins didn't just feed villages, they powered the industrial dairy revolution. With the capacity to produce over 20,000 pounds of milk per lactation in high-performing herds, Holsteins turned milk into a commercial commodity and drove the growth of global dairy industries. They were among the first breeds to be widely adopted in North America, and by the late 20th century, Holsteins were present in over 150 countries. Their influence is so vast that today, over 90% of dairy cows in the United States are Holstein. And it's not just their volume. Holsteins also became the genetic base for cutting-edge breeding programs. The breed's extensive documentation made them the perfect candidates for artificial insemination, genomic selection, and international breed registries. Their massive contribution to food security and dairy economies makes Holstein a true pillar of agricultural history. Traveling westward across the Atlantic, the Texas Longhorn carved out a legacy as rugged and iconic as the American frontier itself. Descended from Spanish cattle brought to the Americas in the 15th century, Longhorns evolved over generations in the wild landscapes of what is now the southwestern United States. Natural selection turned them into one of the hardiest breeds on the planet, capable of surviving in harsh deserts, resisting local diseases, and traveling vast distances with minimal water. But their historical importance goes beyond survival. During the post-Civil War era, Longhorns became the backbone of the booming American cattle drives. Tens of thousands of them were herded along trails like the Chisholm and Goodnight Loving to railheads in Kansas, feeding the exploding cities of the East. These cattle literally built the early beef industry of the United States. Their horns, spanning up to 7 feet tip to tip, and their vivid colors made them icons of cowboy culture, appearing in literature, film, and art. While they were eventually replaced by faster-growing European breeds in commercial beef operations, the Texas Longhorn's role in shaping the economic and cultural development of the American West remains unmatched. In the lush green valleys of Scotland, a compact but mighty breed was rising that would go on to change the global beef industry. The Aberdeen Angus, now widely known simply as Angus, was developed in northeastern Scotland in the 19th century. Unlike many other traditional British breeds, Angus cattle are naturally polled, meaning they have no horns, and are prized for their calm disposition, hardiness, and most of all, for their incredibly tender and marbled beef. When Angus cattle were introduced to the United States in the late 1800s, they quickly won over ranchers and chefs alike. But their real explosion in popularity came with the branding of certified Angus beef in the 1970s, a marketing strategy that capitalized on consumer demand for higher quality cuts. Angus beef became synonymous with premium flavor, consistency, and high-end dining. Today, Angus is the most common beef breed in the United States, and its genetics have been exported to over 80 countries. More than just a meat source, Angus revolutionized beef grading standards and raised the bar for what consumers expect on their plates. Its impact isn't just historical, it's ongoing, with Angus genetics at the heart of countless crossbreeding programs and meat quality research initiatives worldwide. Not all influential cattle breeds are known for size or output. Some have changed history by their very existence as symbols of resilience and cultural heritage. This is especially true for the Highland cattle of Scotland. With their dramatic long horns and shaggy red or golden coats, Highland cattle are one of the oldest registered cattle breeds in the world, dating back over 1,000 years. Developed in the rugged Scottish Highlands, these cattle were born to endure. They thrive in cold, wet climates and can forage on poor quality pasture that would be unusable for most other breeds. Highland cattle were the lifeblood of many Scottish communities, providing milk, meat, and even warmth through their hides. But beyond survival, they became a symbol of Scottish identity. Their image appears on crests, flags, and in tourism campaigns, often used to represent the wild and untamed spirit of the Highlands. Even as modern agriculture shifted toward more commercialized breeds, Highland cattle retained their charm and have seen a resurgence in small-scale and sustainable farming. Their meat, lean but flavorful, is increasingly appreciated in gourmet markets. More than just a breed, Highland cattle have become living history, a bridge between ancient pastoralism and today's regenerative farming movement. Each of these 5 breeds tells a story of human ambition, environmental adaptation, and economic transformation. The Zebu represents resilience and the adaptability of livestock to harsh conditions, a vital genetic reservoir in an age of climate change. The Holstein Friesian showcases the power of productivity and genetic science in scaling global food systems. The Texas Longhorn carries the legacy of frontier expansion and the early American beef trade on its massive horns. The Angus breed reminds us of the importance of quality and consumer preference in shaping markets. And the Highland cow embodies endurance and cultural pride, showing how livestock are more than just commodities. They are symbols, partners, and often legends. Together, they form a tapestry of cattle history that still influences breeding decisions, market trends, and agricultural policies today. What's fascinating is how the reach of these breeds goes beyond borders. You'll find Holsteins in the Middle East, thriving in modern cooling barns. Angus crosses are dominating beef herds in Australia and Latin America. Zebu genetics are behind the success of hybrid cattle in Africa, where climate conditions demand heat tolerance and disease resistance. Texas Longhorns, though no longer the commercial standard, are preserved by enthusiasts who recognize their genetic value and cultural weight. Highland cattle are now raised as far afield as New Zealand, where their beauty and ruggedness continue to captivate farmers and visitors alike. Their historical influence is also visible in global agricultural policy. The demand for Angus beef spurred labeling laws and meat grading systems in multiple countries. Holstein milk production data fueled entire sectors of agribusiness and veterinary science. Zebu cattle genetics reshaped entire economies, especially in Brazil and India. The reverence for Longhorns and Highland cattle helped ignite conservation programs to preserve heritage breeds, reminding us that agricultural diversity is just as vital as output. So, when we talk about the most influential cattle breeds in history, we're not just looking at production statistics. We're looking at how these breeds have woven themselves into the social, cultural, and economic fabric of humanity. They've been there in times of peace and famine, war and prosperity, serving not just as food sources, but as economic engines, spiritual symbols, and even diplomatic gifts. Their DNA lives on not just in their descendants, but in the practices, technologies, and cultural traditions we see around the world today. As the world moves toward more sustainable and climate-smart agriculture, the lessons from these breeds remain deeply relevant. Breeds like Zebu offer climate resilience. Holsteins represent the power of data and genetic precision. Angus continues to lead with quality and marketability. Longhorns remind us of the value of hardiness and independence, and Highland cattle show that beauty, heritage, and utility can go hand in hand. The influence of these cattle didn't end with history. It continues to evolve, shaping the next chapter of farming around the globe. As we've seen, these cattle breeds are far more than just livestock. They're symbols of survival, innovation, and human progress. Each one played a key role in shaping agriculture as we know it, influencing food systems, economies, and cultures around the globe. From the heat-tolerant Zebu to the milk powerhouse Holstein, the rugged Texas Longhorn, the high-quality Angus, and the timeless Highland cow, these breeds didn't just adapt to the world, they helped change it. Their impact continues today, reminding us how the right breed, in the right place, at the right time, can leave a legacy that spans generations. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey through cattle history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. There's always more to explore in the world of livestock and farming.